Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Gary Oak here, coming at you live with a brand new deck profile for those furry little bastards we call Kuriboh. Um, this deck, it's kind of like a burn deck. Friend of mine requested it once again. Like I said, I love to do requested deck profiles and things of that nature. So let's jump right in. First is three one ofs, or three, not three one ofs, but three Kuribohs, level ones. Stats don't really matter. Main effect of Kuriboh, you pitch this card from your hand, and you take no battle damage for this turn. Next up is three winged Kuriboh, which is if this card is on the field, is destroyed and sent to the graveyard for the rest of the turn. You take no battle damage. And finally, three rainbow Kuriboh, where you can only activate each effect of Rainbow Kuriboh once per turn. If a monster attacks, you equip it from your hand and it cannot attack. And if it's in the grave, you can special summon it from the grave. Honestly, when I read these effects originally and I was looking at the variants of Kuriboh, etc., etc., main thing I kind of thought of was just how good defensively it is, and so I decided to build a burn deck around this instead of the level 10 OTK, just because the level 10 OTK has a bit more setup than I'd rather prefer. Next up is a one of in BLS. You can run BLS in a one of. This kind of came to me. Kuriboh's a dark, and winged Kuriboh and rainbow are a light, so it's not super hard to get him out. I just think it's a neat little card you can run in with the deck. Um, and then Lava Golem. Lava Golem, this is a burn deck, and so tributing your opponent shit for a Lava Golem to make them lose is always fun. Next up is Hand Destruction. Hand Destruction, the main reason I use that is if I draw into Rainbow Kuribohs or anything of that nature, it helps with your draw power a bit more. You can't use upstarts in this deck. The main reason being is the fact that upstarts, they give your opponent life points, and with a burn deck you never want to give life points. Next up is 3 Pot of Duality. With the exception of BLS, nothing else you really and Lava Golem. But your traps is what you need mostly. 3 Wave Motion Cannon. If you don't know what Wave Motion Cannon is, it's the biggest fuck you in Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, you play it, and during every standby phase, it gets a counter, and after you can basically activate it again to inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent for each standby phase that went by. So this is where these little furry bastards come into play, and the fact that your opponent can't attack you, they can't give presents, so that's going to go off and deal a lot of damage, especially when you have multiple on the field. Next up is Chain Strike. If you don't know what Chain Strike is, or how chains work in Yu-Gi-Oh!, basically every time an effect is activated, it starts a chain, and cards can be responded to this, adding links to the chain. Well, how Chain Strike works is anything above Chain Link 2 or higher, it can be added to the chain, and it does 400 damage to your opponent, equal to the number of chains in the effect. So, equal to the number of links in the chain, or the chain link number of this card, I should say. So, you can, a personal favorite of mine is Rainbow Kuriboh into Just Desserts, into Secret Barrel, into Chain Strike, and they'll take 1,600 damage, plus the damage from these two. It's a really nasty combo, and it's essential for any burn deck. Next is 3 Just Desserts. This is a super old card, but it's still a staple for burn decks. 500 damage to your opponent for each monster on your opponent's side of the field. The reason you run this as 3 is because these creepy little bastards known as Ojama Trio, you use it side by side with them. The effect of Ojama Trio, you special summon 3 Ojama tokens that cannot be tributed, and they cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. And when an Ojama token is destroyed, the owner takes 300 damage. So if they have 2 monsters on their field, plus you activate this, plus you chain Just Desserts, then Secret Barrel than Chain Strike. Just from their field alone, they'll take 1,000, 35, and then that's 4, or that would be 3, another 12, so 47 damage in a single move. That's how powerful Chain Burn is. Next up is Secret Barrel, another older card. It actually used to be a staple forever and a day ago. Um, Inflict damage to your opponent equal to the total number of cards on your opponent's side of the field and in your opponent's hand times 200. Um, Once again, it's just solid damage. More damage is good damage with Burn deck. 3 Magic Cylinder because I hate people. This card is so fucking trolly. You'll actually see in one of my games I basically win because 3 Magic Cylinder. Next is 2 Waboku. Waboku's kind of like a staller, and also once again you don't want to die in this. Um, Dimension Wall. Dimension Wall is awesome. It's basically Magic Cylinder for direct attacks. When your opponent declares an attack, however much damage you would take from the attack, your opponent takes instead. So where Magic Cylinder is effective if they attack a monster or attack you, Dimension Wall is better if they attack you directly, because it simply doesn't target, where Magic Cylinder does. Next up is the 2 Ojama Trio, which I previously mentioned with the Just Desserts. That combo is just way too fucking nasty. 1 Torrential because you'll never have monsters on the field, and if you Torrential while they have those, that's another 900 damage. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole because that's a staple, and 1 Solemn Warning. Next for the extra deck, I put these in here. I'd never really play them. It's more like, if you have a dead hand, if you draw on the nothing but Kuribohs, you can make the Slacker Magician. Slacker Magician, once per turn, cannot be destroyed by battle, and during either player's turn when a card or effect activates that targets this face-up card, you can detach 1 Xyz material, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. Once again, more for if your Kuribohs are a dead draw. But all in all, deck's a lot of fun. Just a trolly Kuriboh deck. Make people curse the Kuriboh in all its forms. And remember, if you enjoyed the video, to rate the video, like the video, and subscribe. See ya.